Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of the Review with Heather's Passion Academy. And I am Heather of Heather's Passion Academy. And today we are reviewing episode 7 of Family Empire. This is his first season. So, of course, um, we're finding out more and more about the Braden family and also finding out more about um, their business and also their family dynamic. And y'all know they done had some messy, messy times. And actually, the last episode, we were talking about the crawfish boil over at um, Jermeshia's house. And the aunts and pretty much the women of the family were out in the tent talking about the situation with Keisha because that seems to still be a hot topic, even though Keisha is 40. But it seems like that has been the issue, that is the ongoing issue between her and then Nicole's mother, Joy. Um, and I'm just gonna go ahead, even though we're getting ready to review this. Let me just say, um, Joy rubbed me the wrong way last episode, when she was talking to Keisha about basically being the outside child or whatever, and telling her, basically, I didn't appreciate your mama having you is basically, and then your aunts had the nerve to want to be your aunts. That's basically what she said, which meant that she's still laying a lot of blame on the person that was the child in the situation and not really dealing with how the child came about. But that's where we ended at last episode at the crawfish boil. So we're picking back up at the crawfish boil, where they're getting more and more. Well, y- I guess it's at the crawfish boil, but we're at the end of it, where everything pretty much started to unravel for the family regarding surrounding this issue. So let's get into it, y'all. Um, so over here at this crawfish boil with Keisha, Keisha just wanted some answers. And we see that she's still not getting answers, and especially not the answers that she needed. They're arguing about whether or not Bubba would have gotten her to introduce her to his side of the family. And Joy is like, how would y'all know he wasn't gonna do it? Joy, the girl was 7 when Jackie decided to go ahead and get her, which means that if he wasn't going to do it, 7, she was 7 years old before they decided to go ahead and intervene. And Monet kept trying to speak up for mom, and I understand you gonna try to speak up for your mama, I guess. But me, I'm gonna call it everybody out when they wrong. I don't care who you are. Um, but we can see what was up. She didn't want Keisha there, and Bubba wasn't worried about forming a relationship with her. Now all this is going on, and Larry done left the building, honey. Um, he says too much commotion and he gotta go. Now we're gonna talk about that one later. As they are continuing to argue, it comes out that Joy didn't even want Keisha at Jackie's house. And I knew from jump Joy fueled a lot of this stuff because Joy really thinks she won, I guess. You can't convince me that she just wanted him to that she just didn't want, him to be around Keisha and wanted to pretend like they were just one big happy family. You're not going to get me to believe that the problem was she just wanted a blood test. The problem was, you know, she didn't want to acknowledge that Keisha existed. That's where it boiled down to. Anyway, I'm not a fan of women that act like this because it's hard enough, to try to get some people to take responsibilities for their own children. And usually, to me as a woman, I have to think about, do I want this type of treatment? Would I want this type of treatment if I was on the receiving end of this foolishness? No. And especially thinking about it in a child situation, I wouldn't want my child to go through this, and I wouldn't want to put anybody else's child through that. But Joy don't care, baby. Joy does not care. So she, instead of her being mad at Bubba, she just decides she just gonna exclude this child that ends up being collateral damage. So everything escalated to the point where Jackie got upset, honey, upset. Monet kept trying to get in the middle of everything, and I'm like, girl, you are basing your information on what has been told by your mama and not getting all of the information. Stay at them wrong for business. She got offended when they say you were just a baby when this happened. And you have to understand, just sometimes that's what it is. You don't really know what the dynamic was if you were not there. So she was like, they want you need to respect their marriage. You need to respect their marriage. And I don't think they was even married at the time. I just think they were together, or she was with him. That's really what it seems like. She was with him and not necessarily him being with her. Um, so then everyone just kind of goes inside because now, everything is coming to a head, and you know Jackie's upset, and she was like, that's why I didn't want to have this conversation, because this is what this stuff is going to be doing, like she's upset. So you got Bubba sitting here like, what's going on? And I'm like, that's typical. Y'all, I just some of these people in this family kind of trigger me, because you see these type of people in your own family. I'm gonna just leave it like that. Bubba wants to know what's going on, so they're telling him the situation with Joy and the sisters, and then he said, "Well, y'all ain't had no business going to get her no way." And I'm like, you know what? I need y'all to have more smoke for this man. I need y'all to have way more smoke for him. Um, And so well, I wasn't married at the time. And Cheryl was like, well, your wife doesn't understand that. Then this, what's Kamala's favorite word? Says, um, she ain't got to accept her because this ain't her child. And the way I want to square up with this dude every time he hits the screen, because he has some nerve to say that someone that he planned on being with does not have to accept a child he created. That's a problem. I keep saying that I have a sneaking suspicion that his sisters have always been there to clean up his messes. And by the looks of him, he seems to be in a lot of messes. The way he talks, the way he disregards people. Um, yeah, I don't know these people. And this is all alleged, but certain behaviors and personalities, they repeat no matter where you are. Um, so he and Joy, um, I really feel like they are together because they are one and the same. You know, he done had it out with all them sisters. Keisha is like, I'm gonna handle him myself. It's- but they're wrong. Those two right there are wrong. Joy trying to do all this screaming and hollering, telling him gone somewhere. It's just so much going on. Look at Caramel. She's just like, I don't even know. I don't even know if I want to be around these people. You know, um, is escalating because the sisters are telling him he trying to tell them that they need to stay out of his business, and he's being hurtful to Cheryl, telling her she should have had kids for her to understand, and he paid child support as if child support is something he's supposed to get a pat on the back for. I don't know, y'all. I feel like Granny paid that child support. I don't know. I'm just mm-mm. I'm putting it out there. I think somebody else. Y'all, I don't know. Joy, um, out there trying to pipe up Nicole, telling her to hush. It's a lot going on. He got that only son syndrome, where they put their only son up on a pedestal, and how they old folks always say, you love your sons and you raise your daughters. He definitely looked like he got the love and not the raising. The other men in the family had to come and try to diffuse some of the stuff. And then Nicole was very upset, and she, it's just a lot happening between all these people. And Nicole steps in and says, yeah, she's not going anywhere, and we're gonna have to find a way to get over this. And then they decided they need to pray. And I'm gonna tell you something. Don't come telling me we need to pray when I'm mad. Y'all better than me. I'm just saying. Don't come telling me that. Everybody just need to leave. Let's go home. Let's think about it. But the next day, we see what happens after a lot of the fallout. Everybody's just kind of reeling, I feel, from what's happened over the past day or so. Um, and I just think, Nicole's like, well, my dad was blindsided. I'm like, baby, he ain't blindsided. Y'all 40. Y'all are 40. This shouldn't be blindsided to know that you didn't do everything you needed to do as a parent to make sure that your kids were okay. And they both admittedly said he is not emotionally available. So this should not be blindsided. But I get that people want the best from their parents and they only see the best in their parents if they've been taught to just respect your parents no matter what. I wasn't taught that. I was taught to respect people accordingly. So if you did me wrong, whether you are my elder or not, I'm gonna hold you accountable. That's just how it should be, I think. Yeah, this show was draining. Anyway, so that was just the first 10 minutes of the show. So you got Larry and Nicole riding down to the park to talk about what happened after the crawfish boil. They do a little family ride down. And she talks about how things exploded because Larry left. And she really needed him to be there, but he left. And then he was saying he felt bad because not only did he leave, but he took melatonin when he got home, so he couldn't even wake up so that she can have a place to decompress after all that. And the thing about her, I see that she does a lot of, and here's the thing, Keisha does it too, they just do it differently. um because they had a father that is emotionally unavailable, they tend to make excuses for why other people aren't showing up as much as they should in their life. Like she goes, well, Larry, well, I understand, but I really needed you at that time, and I get it, and da, da, da. And I'm like, I need y'all to be a little bit more upset and angry. And just the fact that when things get uncomfortable for Larry, he leaves. And that's not cool. I get that they family gonna do what they family gonna do. But as the spouse, you gotta, sometimes you gotta, be uncomfortable if that's what helps your partner. Keisha does the same thing when people talking, to her about her situation. She always say, I'm fine, I'm okay, it's good, it's all good. And I wish for both of them to stop doing that. He's done their dad's done a number on them. And yeah. So Keisha and Caramel are out having a coffee date, and then they're just kind of briefing, having a little briefing about what happened. Um Keisha feel like it's the same old, same old. Caramel points out that there was some audacity from Frank to say that Joy didn't have to accept her, you know. And again, Keisha's like, um, people are telling her that he felt embarrassed. And I'm like, that's not your problem, boo. He shouldn't have created that situation. Um, she said he could have stepped up to be a dad, but he didn't. But it's crazy how everybody wants you to feel bad because of him and his lack of parenting, but they're not seeming to understand why she would be upset about what was said from both he and from him and Joy. So Caramel asks if she spoke to him. Keisha says not yet, and she tells her don't wait too long. A lot of folks like, well, you only get one set of parents. And I'm like, but you know what? Sometimes I just think it's a black folk thing. When people do you wrong, whether it's your parents or not, they don't have the right to be part of your life. And especially, they're telling her to reach out to him. He needs to reach out to her. He created the problem. He's the one that had two women, not her. But, everybody like, "Well, don't let that go too long. You reach out, He needs to make the first move. Can't keep excusing him because he's 74. He's 74, hadn't learned anything. So, Keisha says she doesn't feel like anything will be resolved and things are gonna go back to being swept on the rug as always. But in other news, she and Nicole have been talking more. And so, you know, that's kind of helped their relationship. It's sad how that's helped their relationship, you know? It's very sad. So the next scene, the Jays go over to Nicole's house to see how she doing, basically, just to make sure that everything's okay with her. They want to do a temperature check. Want to make sure how both of them were feeling. Just kind of checking in to see how they were doing. So um, she says that they were trying to pretty much um, being disrespectful to Keisha. You know, like everybody's talking about her as though she's not there or as though she doesn't have feelings, and she had a problem with that. But she also feels like her dad was caught off guard. And I'm like, again, you had 40 years to deal with this. Nicole thinks none of the children should have been at the table during the exchange. She thinks it should have been between Joy and Jackie. But this is about Keisha, so Keisha should have been there too. And Joy started. She the one that pulled Keisha to the side, wanted to talk to her after Keisha and Nicole went to therapy together. So that to me, that's the problem. They switched the conversation though. They want to know what's going on with the land and where Nicole's head is. She maintains she's on the side of Granny, because Granny gonna do what she gonna do. But then they talked about the build versus sell model, build versus rent model, and all this stuff. So basically they're in preparation mode for the uh the pitch. So they just want everybody to know that she wants them to know she does see what they're saying. So, but again, you can't overstep Granny with her cousin in the next scene. So he can live home. And they look at this duplex. This duplex pretty nice. What she's talking about is him staying on one side and renting out the other. And this house is in his budget 500,000. I like looking at so far the show has been okay with the real estate part. Like we're actually seeing them selling houses and showing houses. So we got the drama, but they're also showing you the business side. And I do appreciate that as a viewer. Anyway, Monet and Nicole meet up with a potential property listing or client that and this listing belongs to a football player. I didn't get his name because okay. And so they get down to the brass tacks to let the investor know that what they can do as far as a property that is on the luxury side is concerned. So then he said, "It sounds great. I'm gonna get back to you or whatever." The ladies end up talking to each other about what happened at the crawfish boil. Monet and Jaquita went at it, and she's a little nervous to see everybody because they had it out, but she'll definitely be there so she can support Jermeshia for the pitch. Now, I think that's nice that they'll still show up, even though they may be at odds. They'll still show up for each other. Later, the ladies are gathered at the banquet hall. Y'all know how they do. They're gonna be at that banquet hall. They walk in and everything. My picture's a little blurry today. I don't know what happened. Um, and so they're everybody's cautiously optimistic about showing these ideas. The silver lining is that again, we're seeing that Nicole seems to be in a better place with Keisha. And Monet walks in, she seems like she had a little trepidation when she walked in. Um, and then the aunts come in, and then this woman right here, y'all still letting that lady drive a car. Y'all stop it. Take her keys. She don't need to be driving nowhere. Anyway, so Jermesha starts the presentation. This is all them. They're getting ready. Um, and the thing is, Jermesha starts the presentation to talk about, how she sees it, basically how they see it. And the first thing they talk about is the purchase model, build to purchase. And one of the things they were concerned about is that something that Granny is interested in doing? Would she be, instead of just selling the land, would she be interested in the build to purchase model? Um, and so they were just pretty much giving them all the information, what type of investment is gonna take, all that kind of stuff. Um, and so Cheryl leans over and asks her, you know, "What do you think? Do you like this idea?" Because now they say that Granny really leans on those two daughters, Cheryl and Charlotte, to kind of run ideas by. So she leans over to Cheryl and lets her know right now she still would just like to sell. And so that's where the episode ends, because everybody's trying to figure out what's going to be the thing. So we just heard one portion of the presentation. We all know that there's another one coming. So I don't know if they'll be able to convince Granny that should develop the land. I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing that they're going to be able to do for her, because she just seemed like she really want to sell that land to make sure, especially her baby boy, want to make sure they taken care of. But she wants to. I don't know. I feel like she'll make a good decision if it seems. I guess they say if it makes money, then it makes sense to her. So we're gonna see about that. But I know she's there to humor them for the most part. But at the end of the day, she just want to be done with the whole thing. And I guess we'll see on the next episode. And the next episode is the season finale. So we'll have to see what's going on. Yeah. And that's how the episode ended. It ended with that to be continued. So we'll see what's happening in the next episode. So as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. And I'd be honored if you support my channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing this review. And also hitting the notification bell so that you'll know when I upload the next recap. And I'll see you guys in the next video.